Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tara and I make videos about digital planning and different ways that you can get creative with your iPad. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss a video. That all being said, let's go ahead and jump into the purpose of today's video, which is going to be setting up my weekly layout for the month of September. What you're seeing right now is my monthly layout. I will link a video to that in the cards up here, but I wanted to start with this really quickly. I went ahead and filled in like the major dates of things that I have going on, and then I also put my sprints in here. And in doing so, I realized that if you watch this video, you may have noticed this yourself, that when I changed the color of my background element for like the monthly template, I also changed the color of the font here. So because the days of the week for the month, those are actually built in, they're not part of the element, those ones remained black. But this one here, when I changed the color, it changed to the same color as the background. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm going to come to my lasso tool, make sure that text boxes only is turned on, and then we're just gonna grab this text here and we're gonna change this color to black just to make sure it's consistent with everything else. Okay. That's really all that we need to do on this page here. So if you do want to check out this video, if you missed it, feel free to go watch that. But we're gonna go ahead and review my weekly setup for August now. So we're just gonna jump into August and then let's do this week. Now also, if you missed this video, I will link this one in the cards. Honestly, the August stickers were some of my favorites. I just think they were so cute. So if you want to see how I used any of those, feel free to go back and check those out. But this was my weekly setup for August. It was pretty simple. Usually I'm very into my daily plans. Those are what keep me on task and getting my stuff done. But I usually use my monthly and my weekly as a way of breaking down the most important things that I need to get done. And then my dailies are really where I thrive. So what you'll see here is basically what I did was I took the information from my monthly sprints and the most important things for me to accomplish during the week, and I placed them here into my Eisenhower matrix where I sorted things based on urgence and importance. And so my arrows are going this way, so like the most urgent and most important things are down here, and then these would be the least urgent and least important. This would be most important and least urgent, and this would be most urgent but least important. So you can just kind of like use this matrix as a way of prioritizing things. And I tend to do that a lot. So I really like using an Eisenhower matrix like this. But essentially what I did was I just sorted the main tasks for my sprints into here, and then anything else that I knew that I wanted to accomplish or needed to do during the week that may not have made it on the list of like 4 to 8 sprints that I plan to accomplish during a 2-week period. So it has the big things, but it also has some of the smaller things as well. And then what I did was I just took a little brush pen in the Goodnotes app here, and I used one of the colors. I used like the darker green, and I wrote in cursive just some of the things that were gonna be more like all day events. So like a house sitting or watching my nieces. Actually, the 20th was my niece's second day of school ever, which is very exciting. And that's actually what this picture is here. So I took a picture of her and saved that in here as one of my memories for the week. And then the other things on here that you see just in like the regular handwriting in a black ball pen, these are things that I wanted to either be doing every day or things that were, you know, prioritized specifically from this list. So I do realize though that one thing I did not do when I put this in here was I did not change the week that was highlighted. Oops. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now. You guys can see how I do that. So just gonna turn handwriting on here, and this is the week of like basically the 19th through the 25th. So just gonna move that down. I should have done that before. Can't believe I didn't. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, as I've mentioned so many times. The daily planner is where I really spend the most of my time. So this is just kind of bigger stuff, things that I want to do, and then a breakdown further. So I always reference back to this when I put my daily planner together, just so that I know that I'm not missing any of the big things, because I do find that focusing a lot on a daily planner means that I focus a lot on maybe some unnecessary tasks on my to-do list. And so keeping this and also my monthly much more big picture just helps me to make sure that I'm actually hitting my goals for the month. And then my daily plan is just what brings me like sanity and trying to accomplish all the things that I want to accomplish. So I hope that that makes sense for everyone. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump into September, and then we will jump into the week. So I did notice I made another mistake. So when I was setting up my links for September, these are all 1 week off. So if I want to set up this first week of September, I'm going to have to click the second week's link here. So that was definitely a mistake, definitely my bad. So oops. And let's see, I know that I'm going to want to use the element that I created for this. So that's going to go in there. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this space. I have a lot of ideas, and I was thinking I would do like a habit tracker over here, but also part of me just wants to do it over here because there's a lot of space. Then I could put like a note section over here. We're gonna see how things go. I'm just gonna start planning and follow my heart and see where it leads. So to begin, I think I'm gonna take my like blank slate sticker that I have, my element, that's the background color. And in case you missed it, in my previous video, I did mention that this month, one of the extra videos that I'm gonna put out is just me basically going through how I've made every single element that I use on a regular basis so that it's all together in one video. So if you don't wanna go back and check all the videos I've ever made trying to find specific little tips and tricks, I'm gonna combine all of them into one video so they're gonna be a lot easier to find. So keep an eye out for that this month. Okay, so one thing that I do wanna do is take my image tool, now that I have this element here, and I'm just going to erase that one because it really doesn't need to be there. I made that last year when I used to have something in this space, and I don't have anything there anymore, so it's really not necessary. The other thing I'm gonna do, I don't know why I haven't done this before, but really, at this point is this really just needs to be one sticker. And the only reason I'm adjusting this now is because anything I create over here or over here, now I can simply layer things and not have to worry about there being like an element underneath. So the only space that there will be an element underneath where I might run into some kind of like layering issue or grabbing too many things when I use my lasso tool will be right here on this side. Okay, and of course we need to add in our colors here. So let's come back to our elements. And we're just gonna find this one and drag it into place. And for now, I'm happy with the color. We'll see what it ends up being, but sometimes I like to duplicate this so that the color is a little bit darker, but that will really ultimately just depend on what color we make this in the end. Okay, one thing that I know that I wanna do is I'm trying really hard to do like habit tracking in a way that isn't necessarily, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's still habit tracking, but I'm looking at it in a different way where it's like, if I do all of these things, it's more like a crowding in, or I guess crowding out idea where it's about not just activities that I do, but also things that I eat or drink. So making sure that I have X amount of water every day, or making sure that I start my day with like proteins and healthy fats. So doing something that like having this checklist of the good things that I want to have in my life and not necessarily looking at it like a habit tracker, but more like a helpful daily checklist. I think by doing these things, it will help me to crowd out some bad behaviors. So rather than trying to like, I don't know, train myself that these behaviors are wrong and need to be changed, I'm not telling myself that like I need to stop any bad habits. I just need to do more of the good habits. And I think in doing so, it will help me to naturally crowd out some of the bad habits. So for example, I can't help it. I love Coca-Cola. I wish I didn't. It's so hard for me to give up, and there's like a nostalgia to it, and then this relationship with my father and something that we always bonded over. And so it's really, really hard for me to break that sort of like mental connection that I have with Coca-Cola. And if there was Coca-Cola around me all day, I would drink it all day. Like I have no limit to the amount of Coca-Cola that I can consume, which is terrible. But I am trying to encourage myself that, let's say I have, you know, on my list that I need to have at least 3 glasses of tea a day, and then I need to have a glass of water with chia seeds. It's fine, I can still have as much Coke as I want to, but if I have these specific things, then I think I will be less inclined to fill the sort of voids with more Coca-Cola. So I will still have some Coca-Cola, but I probably won't have as many as I'd have if I didn't drink tea and water. You know what I mean? So this is sort of my approach. This is what I'm hoping to do in order to break some bad habits, but not doing it with that like specific intention. Just more or less, I want to bring more good into my life. And so by doing these things, I will bring more good into my life. And if a positive side effect is that I am removing some of the bad, awesome. Not to, you know, classify things as good and bad behaviors, but it's the easiest way to explain this, I guess. So that's my idea, is wanting to add in more behaviors that are going going to make me happy and fulfilled and more responsible, more mentally stable, because, you know, sugar throws off everything. So just trying to be better. Okay, let's get into the planning. So easiest thing to do would be to start with the header. So this is the color palette we used last time. I think I really like this color palette. I don't know which one I want to do. Okay, I think we're going to do this one for our weekly setup. We're going to grab our September sticker here, just copy it and paste it. Okay, and we're just gonna put it here. That's where I'm gonna keep it for now. Who knows, I might change my mind and want to use it in a different way soon, but we'll see. Okay, one thing I know that I want to include here, because I love this sticker so much, is I really want to have this notebook page here. So we're gonna grab this one, and actually let's make sure that we have our images turned on. Grab this one and copy it. We're gonna paste this here, and thinking we'll put it here. I like always have little notes and things that pop into my mind, so I think we're gonna put that there. It's always good, in my opinion, to have a place to just write down all of the thoughts that come into my head. I need places to just collect them, and I haven't figured out if this is like a me thing, if this is a like neurodivergent trait, if this is something that all people do, but for me, with all the ideas that are constantly going in my brain, having these sort of like catch-all spaces in my planner for me to just like put ideas is very important to me. Sure, maybe it would be nice to have like a whole note system in my phone that's all organized based on category, but that's not gonna happen. So I just have these little catch-alls. It's like a junk drawer. You know, everyone's got one of those in their house. It's like that for my brain. Okay, I was thinking I might just use the sticker or maybe the laptop. Let's go with the laptop because I used the book bag sticker before. But let's paste this here just because it's cute, and we can add a little bit of decoration down here too. So maybe just the leaves. What do you think? I love the blue light blockers. They make me so happy. Let's do some of these leaves. So I want to have these actually here anyway. So I'm going to copy these. I know that I'm going to use these as decorative elements throughout. So I'm just going to go ahead and to start off, paste quite a few of these on here. And then that gives me the freedom. These are now all on the bottom layer. So this gives me the freedom to be able to like use these however I want to and not have to worry about relayering, except for the fact that obviously I already pasted these two things. So I am just going to take this one and we're going to cut it and paste it back on top. So now these will all be behind there. And I am going to just make these a little bit bigger so that they're easier for me to grab. And let's go ahead and just start moving a few of these. So I probably, you know, it doesn't really make sense to use the green because this is green, but we can use the other colors and just kind of frame this a little bit. And this one, I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger so that it's easy enough to see, and then we can make it smaller again. Obviously the white's not the easiest thing to see, but that's okay. I'm calling it white, but it's not really white. It's just the white of this particular palette, if you will. I don't know where I want this one. Maybe we'll just kind of hang it behind here a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll do. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to move this one over really quickly because I wanna grab this one and I wanna put this one here because this one I know is further back than that brown. And so now that stem is gonna be behind there. Just a little more visually appealing, but definitely also just a little nitpicky on my part. So I'm gonna place that one there, and then this one doesn't really matter because it's behind the laptop. And then let's put one of these brown leaves over there, maybe like this. That's pretty cute. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna grab one of these iced coffees. Let's do the one without the straw. Just gonna copy this and we're gonna paste it. Just kind of like put this here. Yum. And then maybe I'll grab these glasses. Let's do the brown ones, I think. And we're gonna paste these, and these are gonna come over here on top of our laptop. So they're ready to use since I'm treating them like blue light blockers. Maybe they're a little bit too big though. So I'm gonna grab my image tool and we're just gonna size this down a little bit, and I'm just gonna have them sort of layered over there. I think that looks good. Very cute. Okay, so now I want to make sure I create this nice little habit space, or like, you know, the crowding out list of things that I want to do to make my myself feel good. So it would be kind of fun to put them into like one of these notebooks, or to make it like a chalkboard, or I could put it on this one. So many options. I love being able to like have the freedom to just create whatever, but then sometimes having all the choices makes me a little unclear of what I want to do. So maybe I'll save that for my daily. Okay. So indecisive. So I might use this one, but then I think what I want is a little background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this, come back to my planner, I'm gonna paste this, and what we're gonna do is we're actually going to use our image tool, and we are going to crop this. And I'm just going to crop basically so that I only have the texture. So I'm just bringing these corners in so that I have a pure block of this composition notebook. And this is how I'm just gonna sort of like frame what I'm doing. I think I'm gonna put this down here, and maybe it could be like a little smaller so that the space down here is at least a little bit closer to the space on the edges, just for, I don't know, the visual consistency, I guess. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I think that helps a little bit. And then what I wanna do now is come back here and grab this notebook. We're gonna copy it, and we are going to paste it. And I want it to be pretty big, and yes, it is angled, and that's okay. I don't know if I'm gonna regret putting in this notebook or not, but I just thought it would be nice. I already kind of feel like I'm regretting it, but that's okay. So what we're gonna do is, let's come look at our functional stickers really quickly. I think I might use these and not the white one because it won't stand out enough. We'll use these in these 3 colors, and I'm gonna paste them. And this is how I'm gonna track the habits. And so I already know what the habits are that I want, but I've left my list away from here. So I need space for 16 of them, and then I'll need to be able to track for 7 days. So what I need from these here is, what I'm gonna do so that I can have an even spacing is I am going to, don't think it needs to be quite that big, but I'm gonna use this pen in order to space out the icons. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is draw a straight line too, just so I can make sure that I keep everything in a straight line. We're gonna turn on handwriting only for a second, and we are going to copy this and paste it. And I'm gonna use my image tool here, and I'm gonna line this up like exactly with the edge. Also, I'm going to line this one up with the bottom and the edge. And then I can take this handwriting and move it over. And so now I know that these are like perfectly spaced. So I'm gonna move this one over here. This isn't super important. I'm probably going to be changing these so that the colors end up being all the same for each line. But basically this is what I need. So I'm going to copy these 4 now, and I'm going to paste them, and I can line this one up so that it's pretty exact on there. And there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one out here. And then let's take one of these and move it down here. And we're gonna move this other one down here. And this is definitely gonna take a little bit of time to create this, especially because, like I said, I have like 16 of these that I wanna do. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn on images only. We're gonna copy those 2. And we're going to paste them, just get them to line up nicely, and paste 2 more. And not that I need to paste 2 more, but just the 1 more. And I can delete this one. Okay, so we can cut this one. I guess we're gonna undo that, and we're gonna paste that group that we just cut and line that up in between those lines. And that's gonna need to move down a little bit. And then I know that this one we're gonna end up needing 1 more time. This will be the only one that gets done 3 times, and the others will get done 2 times. So I'm just gonna line that up there. And we're just gonna do that same process. So I will speed through that, and I'll meet you back here when I'm done with both of these colors. So I'm gonna interrupt myself for just a second, and we're gonna move this down here to the bottom of those. And then we're gonna line these ones up and keep going. Okay, so now I am going to interrupt myself for a second. I did need one extra of these. I don't really know what I was thinking though, because that's not what I meant. So I was doing the math wrong. I was thinking 7 and not 16, but like I said, I have 16 habits, so I'm going to need 16 rows. And so what I'm going to do again is just turn handwriting back on here, and we're going to come to the bottom of that green line, and I am going to delete these. I don't need these 2 rows. That was a bit silly of me. And what I have to do, of course, is turn handwriting off and images back on and delete these 2 rows. I wasn't really thinking ahead. Okay, so now, since our images are on, we can select these 3. We can copy them and we can paste them. Could have duplicated them as well. And I'm just gonna zoom in so that it's easier to make sure I'm lining it up properly. A little room for human error. Okay, so obviously this right here is 6, but we need 16. So I think we're gonna take these 6 and I am going to move these up. So they are now at the bottom. We are going to duplicate and bring these down here. Just make sure, again, that they're lined up nicely. Okay, so we have 12 for now. And then we are going to need, like I said, 16. So I am going to move these ones out of the way for now. So we're just going to select all of these. And we're just gonna move these ones up, because I need a little bit more space just to make sure that everything is all lined up nicely. And what I'm gonna have to do is move all of these up just like this, and just want to make sure that they're all still lined up properly. So I didn't really get to do that before I managed to let go of them. So just gonna line that up there, and then we are going to take 4 of these in the middle that start with the orange and end with the orange. And we're just going to duplicate these ones and bring them down here, and that will give us our 16. So I'm just gonna turn on my stroke eraser here, and we are going to erase these, and we can also delete these ones. We don't need those. Okay, so we have 7 by 16. And so what I'm gonna do is, let's just test it out and see what happens. We're going to resize these together just so that we can make sure that the angles are right. And do I want to make them small enough like this? Is that too much? Should I break them into groups? I'm not entirely sure. Still, part of me wants to keep them all together. The only hard part about this is I don't like that the book is kind of curved and then these are obviously not. But if I make them small enough, it won't really matter all that much. It'll matter less, I guess. And then I would just have to put something on that side in order to kind of fill it out. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Okay, so I'll change the colors later. But for now, let's go ahead and just draw like a straight line. Take like a smaller brush here. And I can write the name of the habit there. Is that too much? Let's turn on handwriting only. Okay. And I'm going to line these up with it at first, and then I can go in later. And I am just gonna kind of visually line these up. I could also like draw a line. I'm just gonna do my best to visually line this up like this way. And we're just going to copy and paste, and then line these up with their bottoms and hopefully on the edges here. I think that's good enough. We're gonna copy. Actually, we can just duplicate. I always forget. So we can just duplicate and line that up. And again, we're just trying to keep this fairly straight with the angle of the book. And then we'll just need to do that once more. So we'll just duplicate and bring this other group down. And again, just trying our best to keep this fairly in line. It's not perfect. And then we'll just take these and move them over. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I can see it's sort of like getting further away. So I'm just gonna kind of move these just a hair. It's probably gonna bother me, but it's okay. Just doing the best I can here in an imperfect system. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna end up writing the names of the habits and stuff that I want to improve. I could do some cute lettering here if I wanted to, or I could put like a little picture. Let's take a look and see what have we got here that might be interesting to add. I mean, I like the pumpkins. You guys know how much I love the pumpkins. Could we do like a planner inception and put a picture of this planner inside? I think what I might do is put a this cute little picture inside of there, because I think that's adorable. Yeah, that'll do for me. I think that's cute. Okay, now what to do with this space up here? Ooh, okay, so it's time to move these back down. I don't need all these, and I realize that I am likely grabbing a bunch of other stickers. Okay, so let's turn on our images, and let's grab these other stickers, and I know that I'm gonna be grabbing the September header there, but that's okay. We can move that one pretty easily on its own. And I actually know one thing that I do wanna do. So I'm gonna take my pen, and I'm gonna grab, let's see, is it this green color? I think it's this green color. So we're gonna grab the green here, and I'm gonna draw maybe in a thicker, we'll do the thicker one. We're just gonna draw some really cute like hanging strings. And I think this will be fun. And I think September, we're gonna end up cutting it and pasting it back on top. But for now, I'm just gonna move it out of the way. We're gonna come back here to our stickers. And apparently I did this in the brown, so I am gonna have to change that. But let's, with images turned on, make sure that we copy this cute light bulb, come back to our planner. And since handwriting is selected, we can just grab this, and we're going to change the color to the brown, and we are going to paste that sticker. And we don't need the book, so I'm just gonna delete that. And then what we're gonna do is just start taking our cute light bulb, and we're gonna start decorating the page. So we've got this one here, and we're gonna duplicate it, and you're just gonna want to kind of like rotate it, of course, to go with the lights. So you can just remember with your image tool, you can just tap and duplicate, tap and duplicate. And when you're rotating, try not to resize them too much, because that can happen. And you want to make sure that you're sort of keeping this spacing kind of evenly. The reason this corner is not necessarily even is because they're like coming back, so they very well could be at a different spacing there. I'm gonna duplicate this, and again, if you want the strings to look like they're further away, you could, you know, make them a little bit smaller, but I wouldn't go too crazy unless you've designed it like intentionally, drawn those lines to look like that. Okay, so let's keep duplicating, and I'll speed through the rest of this. You don't have to wait for me. Okay, and I think that that'll do. And then we're just gonna cut this and paste it because we want to bring it forward. And now I can decide, like, where do I want it, you know? I think this is kind of fun. It doesn't really have to be the focal point, right? Like, it's not that important, but I think right there will do. Or I could even do something where it's like even smaller and just kind of, you know, off in the corner here. It doesn't have to be, like I said, the focal point. I could put it in this space. I wish you could kind of warp, and then it would be really fun. But this is just a note-taking app. I'm asking too much of it. I just like to get creative. I like to have more freedom in how I design my planner. I might angle this down a little bit so it's somewhat consistent with the angle here, just to keep things okay, you know? And then, yeah, we can probably put some of these leaves and things around. Let me just take a quick look again here and see if there's anything else that I wanted to do. I could potentially put like a couple more like coffee cups or something somewhere, but obviously not up in that space because that would look weird. The leaves will work as if they're like falling from the sky. I could also put one of these like washi tapes down there in this space, which might help. I could either use one of the pumpkin ones or one of the leafy ones to kind of bring it all together. Let's go with this light one. And we're just gonna copy it and paste it. I think that'll work nicely here. All right. It kind of helps to fill that space a little bit better. And then we'll just do some of the leaves and we'll delete the rest. I think what I might also do is cover up this September part here. So I'm just gonna come to my elements and insert this one, which is the background color. And I'm just going to put this here over the word September. And then we are going to duplicate this one and straighten it out and just put that here. Perfect. I need to do my highlighter. So this is the first week, and let's do the middle size and hold that, make it a straight line. I'll change the color probably to the green, I think. That'll do. Okay, and then let's just go with the leaves. So I think probably just gonna stick with not the like branches. When I say branches, I think hopefully you know what I mean, but the ones that have all the stems and stuff and like our multiple leaves, I don't really want to do that. I think that's enough of the white. So we're going to do more color and just make sure that you're angling them and making different sizes. Just trying to use a little bit of a variety here and make things visually interesting. And I don't need to go too heavy on the brown or too heavy on the white. I will include them, but primarily because of the light bulbs, my focus is going to be adding in the orange and the green. And you can warp these too a little bit if you want to, if you would like to give yourself even more variation there. Now I could use some of these ones too. I think it helps a little bit. A little variation is nice. But like I said, I didn't want to do any that were in like the groupings of like 2 or 3 or 4. And you could even have it come down a little bit into your planning space. But I think that that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to delete all of these extra stickers that we don't need and just make sure that I'm happy with that. Okay, perfect. So the very last thing to do is just to take this element here and change its color. So I'm just gonna tap and tap color, and I think we're gonna do either the orange or the brown. So let's just try these out. Probably the orange, but let's check our color, check the brown. I'm thinking, for me, my preference is the orange. Okay, and that's good enough for me. I like that. I've got my little habit tracker. I've got a place for my notes, and then I've got a place to put my most important priorities for the week that I can then schedule into my daily. So that's where I'm gonna leave this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something helpful, possibly in your digital planning. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.